Recently, I had the opportunity to talk to a very cool person for a new series I like to call Devlife. My sales pitch to him was that I was tired of seeing very businessy kinds of content about game development and just wanted to have fun talking about the weird lifestyle that developing a game entices. He was about as perfect of a fit as it gets to start this weird series, so I hope you enjoy and would love it if you could leave a comment telling me what I could do better or who you'd like me to reach out to next. Okay, I guess we should introduce who you are, what you do.
Okay, I'm Willem Travaskis. I'm project lead for BRINE and one of the directors at Studio Whaleful. We're a new indie studio being formed in Cornwall, which is in the UK. BRINE is a love letter to games of old and Cornwall as a whole. I'll explain Cornwall now for those who aren't familiar. Cornwall is a county in the UK that has its own unique culture outside of the traditional UK sort of bubble. So BRINE in its purest essence is Duke Nukem if it was set here in Cornwall in the UK. We are effectively making a Retro-FPS where fishy enemies invade your town and you play as a fisherman, BRINE guy, who has to fight them back.
I really like the story you told me about how BRINE actually was like thought up of.
Yeah, so slightly controversial. So we're outside here in the sunny UK in Cornwall, and we're talking about boomer shooters and we're all nerds. We're all talking about games all the time. And yeah, BRINE sort of came about as originally a game called Bloody Emmet. This is a Cornish saying. It refers to tourism. So in Cornwall, you've got the double-edged sword of tourism. As it gives the sort of cultural, economic boost to Cornwall. It's very much the bread and butter of British summertime is going down to Cornwall. So a lot of our industry relies on it. But Cornwall's very small. It doesn't have very established roads in a lot of places, and then very quickly Cornwall can get very busy. People can get very upset. They can't get to these beaches. They can't get through town. And that's where the sort of stereotype of an emmet comes in, which is Cornish for ant. You can sort of picture why. This isn't typically harmful outside of just Cornish in-jokes. But the idea of BRINE originally was that you're stopping tourists from the sea. We later changed this as we can get sort of lumped in with unfavorable demographics. You don't want to be the people who hate people coming into your land and stuff. That's not who we are. So yeah, we didn't want to be lumped in with that. So we did a complete sort of market pivot away from it. And effectively, BRINE now is Doom in Cornwall, with some Cornish humour still sprinkled in for those who know. But it's not coming from a place of hate. That's the key point. It was just very much a throwaway joke related to Cornish culture originally.
Yeah, if you really wanted to follow the footsteps of Doom and Duke Nukem, that would have been the way to go with the controversy.
Yeah, that's it. The new one, We didn't want to upset the council too much, and and the rest of the UK, I suppose.
How would you say your kind of unprofessionalism with like trying to fit into like the professional side of things, because it's kind of important to be professional to like get funding and stuff as a new independent team?
Ooh, it's fun. Mostly because you catch people off. Like they don't expect you to be this I guess passionate it's a weird way to put it, passionate about your project, in the sense that you just want to just ramble on about it. I like calling it punk indie. Very much following the footsteps of New Blood and how they run their stuff. We're not anti-industry. We recognize the issues with a lot of industry practices. Our games are very much inspired by games that we grew up playing. So an example of this would be Monolith's Blood. We're very much inspired by that game and the cult following it has, and the classic flame deaths and such. So yeah, we've been trying to integrate as much of that into the game as possible. A lot of people really like this because who'd have thought nerds run the gaming industry? Well, it's the higher ups, maybe not, but the people who you pitch to, a lot of the time they've played these games and stuff. I'd compare it to the scene in Ratatouille where the critic eats the ratatouille and he goes back to his childhood. That's what we sort of we catch people off every now and then, and it's advertised in this sort of punky way because we're humor first. We're very much just chill. We don't necessarily wear a suit or anything. It's just, we're making this. We'd be making it if we didn't have funding, and it's one of our biggest strengths, absolutely.
Yeah. And then also, like, just speaking on that, homage to, like, the digital and physical roots, kind of, I guess. How would you say, like, it's been kind of developing a game that's connected to your kind of personal roots, I guess?
So the Cornwall, it's niche. A lot of places, outside of the UK, they're not familiar. Basically, making a game so close to home has been another massive advantage because we can show it to any local. And it's one of those things that it's always a little bit uncomfortable. I go home, I'll talk to my family members, some of which don't play games, and I have to explain my role. And it's an industry that a lot of people still don't take very seriously. They can't comprehend that games is the biggest sort of entertainment, platform going. But when I talk about the fact that I'm showing off a local culture and showing off something that's close to my family, they can all immediately connect to it. Same applies with randoms just nearby. I'll talk about this game, they'll be disinterested, and then I'll talk about the fact that I used a real life location in a pub that they frequently go to, and then suddenly, wow, they're on it. It's sort of led into this sort of split of our two markets. So you've got like the local market, which we're very much appealing to. That's what the game was, and it's making this local experience and showing it to the rest of the world. That's through a lot of the humor that it captures that audience, and then through the graphics and our love of older games and the sort of influences that bleed over into that is very much bringing in people from across the globe. We've tried to get local businesses in more than massive businesses. I believe that local businesses are the core of what makes Cornwall. And like we will go down the high street and we'll go, oh, do you want to be in this game? We hand over the business card, we show it to them, and immediately they lose their minds. They're like, oh yes, please, this is so cool. The main food in Cornwall is the Cornish pasty, and they sell those, and they were like, oh, if you get our shop front in the game, every pasty we sell will have a QR code on it that links to BRINE. And I'm like,
badass.
Absolutely, that sounds amazing. And it's like, no strings attached, I don't want anything, just let me know. I'm so down for this is so cool. And that's it. It's like that local community is passing through. We're not doing product placement by any means. There's a lot of jokes with these places. Like you can shoot a fish's head off in it. It's not exactly appealing to the biggest markets, but they love it. They just want to be involved. It's very much been a tough process because level design one-to-one of an area isn't something that naturally feels good when you play it in a game. So we've had to sort of change how we approach that. Initially it was very clean and just the location. Now the landscape's very much being moved around. We're doing an interior at the moment for a parody of a company that we don't want to have in the game, Trago Mills. We want the aspect of Trago Mills because of how big it is within the community, but not the business side associated with us. So we're doing our own parody of it, which means we get to do whatever we want inside, and that leads to some fun ideas of like this sort of Cornish spin on IKEA, because Trago Mills is this massive superstore that has everything that you need and don't need.
Yeah, kind of like the Costco of your area.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a better comparison.
Even like new Call of Duties or like Halos and stuff, they don't really capture the feeling of the old ones, but they have the same IPs. But like then you see all these like indie games kind of with the people that grew up on those games trying to like capture the feeling without the IPs, and that's kind of what it reminded me of when you're talking about Trago Mills.
There's another interesting link because I'll play games that I'm very much attached to the IP, and I go in and they've not captured it, they've done this wrong, and it's hard to please fans, I get that. But everything we do is there's a prior influence that sort of has a reason for it being there, and it's normally through our own experiences, either in real life or with a video game. So the parody elements and the gameplay elements, they all tie together really nicely. We weren't expecting such a unique sort of pipeline, but we've ended up with one, and I'm very happy about that.
One thing that I really like about BRINE is the kind of very similar, uncanny kind of visual style that all the older games kind of had. Like if you look at, I'm not dissing Ultra Killer or anything, or like it's very polished. Like it looks too good, but like with BRINE, I feel like it kind of captures that kind of Duke Nukem Doom kind of thing where everything kind of just looks slightly off enough to like bring authenticity to the retro FPS genre.
Yeah, initially I thought, you know, we'd bring it all together really cleanly. Cultic's a great example of this because the same sort of practices in our workflow, where you've got the 3D models and you scan them in from 8 directions, you pop them in the game. That can look jank, or that can look like Cultic, where they've got a very, very good palette going, and the whole game is styled around that palette. That works really nicely. Ours ones, yeah, like you said, much more like Duke Nukem, and it's sort of led into this look that I like to describe as like clay models that have been scanned in, which is kind of our original intention, is mimicking Doom, and that's what that was. They'd modeled them in real life, and we sort of matched that sort of lighting style now, so it looks like we may have made these models in real life, but it's obviously modernized. We do it all in Blender, and we're just having so much fun doing that, because you can bring in all of these the 2D tropes from like cartoons and stuff and apply it to the models as well. And you can do so much more now than you could do then. We just want to carry on doing that until the player feels sick. We're really playing with and testing the limits of 3D to 2D in the pipeline. Every enemy has their own unique palette that we crunch down, so they still have that vibe of, you know, being bit crushed and being very low res, but it's unique to the enemy, so you can still have fun with it. So weapon reloads in BRINE very much stem from the fact that we are using unconventional weapons, because weapons in general of the shooting variety are very hard to get in the UK. You can get shotguns and such under gun licenses for hunting and stuff, but other than that, you have a very hard time finding any of your typical first-person shooter weapons in the UK. So we're leaning into this with unconventional weapons, such as the nail gun. We've got our super shotgun, which is a net gun, and the flamethrower, which is a fry thrower, which is deep fat fryer attached to a flamethrower, basically. The reloads just sort of came naturally off the back of that, because, you know, you've got a deep fat fryer. How do you reload it? It's got a basket at the top. And just pump it full of oil, and that's how you reload it. That's fun. And like the net gun, we've picked a gun that's actually a screwdriver in real life, a Makita screwdriver, and it just looked gnarly. And I was like, that needs to be a nail gun. We'll just switch it around. It literally has a magazine, so it works really well as a pistol. Yeah, it works really well as like a pistol sort of SMG sort of crossover.
How has it been, like, because you're the project lead, and how has it been kind of transitioning into that as someone without like actual formal experience?
Yeah, so very interesting in the sense that, before BRINE, I was a 3D artist in props and environment, and I love doing that. I still do. I still get to do it. Maybe not so much for BRINE because I'm wearing so many other hats. With the nature of university, we're very lucky to form our team through university. But within the first 2 years of learning, we would be put into groups, and you'd make a game a year with these big randomly assorted groups of people of different roles. And a lot of the time, funnily enough, programmers became a little bit rare because there would be so many designers, so many artists. Programmers were hard to find. So everyone, although they didn't want to, had to learn how to wear multiple hats and be T-shaped and do more than your regular specialism. A lot of people, through the nature of university, didn't agree with this and stuck in their lanes. I, however, made a big deal out of learning other professions. So I'd spend time doing lots of different things and filling gaps in our teams. I'm very similar to a lot of my peers. We made a very strong sort of support bubble early, where we would just rip into each other's work and try and make each other the best we can be through art, through their design modules, what have you. So when we get to pick our team, I end up with a lot of T-shaped people. And that's sort of the core of BRINE, not just with me, is that we all pull our weight in different areas. We're all sort of Unity generalists. So I learned Unity mostly through second year projects and sort of being somewhat of a project lead then, because I was starting to boss people around, to be honest. And then, yeah, third year, when I came to the table with BRINE, which was originally my idea that I'd been working on my own. I had a little prototype where you could go in and you could shoot a prototype eel's head off with a nail gun, and it would pin his head to the wall. And that was how I sold BRINE to my friends, and they loved it, and they wanted to join the team immediately. And then boom, I'm a project lead. I've got to figure out how to do leadership. When you're with your mates, it's really not that bad. And I'm very lucky to have my friend Fraser, his desk's behind me here. So I'm good cop in the sense that I give him all of the bad stuff, and he will feed it to the team in a productive and nice way. He's got a lot of manager experience, so he can sort of take the business side of things a bit further than me, and I just get to sort of control the creative input and flow of the project more than anything. So it's a little bit tough to sort of connect with everyone and realize their professions. But if you do enough research and you know where they're coming from and what they're doing, you'd be fine. Like as a project lead, it's just about being considerate more than anything and understanding what your team's doing and how they're doing it.
When you're with your friends, like you said, it feels a lot more natural, because then it just feels like you all mutually are in this together, but one person's just kind of in it more than the rest, not in like a selfish way or anything, just like this is one person's like passion. I don't know, I don't want to come off as like this is mine, but like
it's hard. It's like we've had this conversation. Eventually we got asked a very hard question by one of our higher ups. So they're like, oh, so who owns BRINE? Who is BRINE? And then everyone sort of naturally drifted their finger and pointed to me. And I felt terrible in that moment. I was like, oh God, I don't want to devalue the work of all these lovely people. Like, I don't own 100% of this. But yeah, it was my idea. Someone has to be sort of the face of it. It's like a director sense of role. People immediately flock to that when they talk about sort of the bigger picture and talking about films and games and stuff. And they just associate it with one name. But the people who really, really care about the given product look into the rest, and that's what's important in the end. Is, you know, if you have real fans, they'll acknowledge the rest of the team. With Studio Whalefall, like who knows who's going to be controlling the flow of the next project? That torch will likely be passed on for whoever has the next game idea. You know, we're making games as Studio Whalefall, and that's what BRINE will be associated with. And yeah, maybe my name will get thrown around. Who cares, right? We will carry on as a company making more games. Yeah, as soon as you're passionate about making something collectively and you're getting excited to bring these ideas to the table, it stops being work. I use Blender now like I'm playing a game. It literally logs my hours on Steam, so they are one and the same. You know, I can exchange game time with Blender. It's the same passion.
Yeah. How much hours are you at right now?
I think it stopped logging them at one point. Because of, I'll check now, because of plugins, and I switch back all the time. I'm currently at 836 hours.
Oh wow.
That's yeah. So I'm probably at way more, because I've been using this software for 7 years now. But I don't know. It stopped logging them at some point. This is I can confirm. I started Asebright when I started BRINE. This has got 470 hours in it now.
Oh my god.
So that's just like BRINE sprite work.
Yeah, that's more time than I have in like my most played game. Honestly, with indie game development, I've been playing my own game more than I play other games. Like, I find it more fun to make stuff than to play games at this point.
You get design brained as well. I'll play games now that I'm playing them as homework for what I can bring to the table at BRINE. It's like I'll play a game, someone's like, oh, you haven't played this boomer shooter? Why not? Why have you not played this? And I go, oh, I'm sorry, I'll play this boomer shooter. And then I get it, and I play it, and I go, oh, that's funny, I'm putting that in BRINE, and I'll write it down, and I'll loosely make a reference somewhere, and it's a good time.
Yeah, one thing is it's really hard. Like I was saying earlier, like, I'm making an entirely pixel art game, so like it's kind of difficult to make that look all consistent, and you have to kind of fight with Unity a little bit sometimes for that.
Yeah, it's very much in my not. I was going to say blood. I guess it's in my blood now. But I started off 3D modeling in the PlayStation 1 graphics community, so I would make models that deliberately looked like they were from the PS1. I'd play to limitations, so I've always done that. So bringing it to BRINE was not as much of a challenge, but wrangling Unity to look old has been a challenge. Yeah, that's like, it's hard to get that consistent visual style and with the pixelation and stuff so well.
It's like you just can't can't tell Unity look like shit. It refuses to.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It will look like a 2006 like adventure game 3D level of shit, but like not before.
so how is getting voice actors for BRINE, especially the BRINE guy? I love his voice.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it the one line when you break
June.
out of the door?
Well,
Like-
there's 3 in the level.
Yeah.
It might be it's a bad day to be a fish. It could be
Yeah, that one.
yeah, there's my favorite, which was improvised by June, is time to put surf under turf. That's a good one. But yeah, so voice acting, we're very, very lucky to have our amazing voice actors. If I hadn't reached out to the amazing Gianni Matrigrano, the voice actor behind Gabriel and the goons from Fallen Aces and Breadhead and Gaslight District. He's in loads of stuff. He's great. I reached out to him because he's Mr. Boomer Shooter voice actor. Let's be honest, he's in most Boomer Shooters now that are being developed. So I reached out to him. Like, oh, can I have a funny line? Just a couple fish grunts, and I'll put you in as a little Easter egg character or whatever. And when we show this at Expo, people will be like, "Oh, that's funny. They're a Boomer Shooter. They got Gianni. That's great. That's crazy." And yeah, so I reached out and I sort of said, "Oh yeah, do you want to do these couple lines?" And he immediately came back, like, respectfully, no. You need to do this. You need to get this authentic UK cast sorted because you have a UK game, and this is a rare thing in retro FPS. He's absolutely right. He also taught me how to do a casting call on Blue Sky. So we're very, very lucky. Very lovely person to talk to, and he saw the vision. He saw how it was all coming together, and eventually he will be in the game as a throwaway Easter egg character. Yeah, so we got so many voice actors, I think like 60 odd voice actors applying, one of which was recommended by Gianni. That's Voice Quills, Ashley Quills. Very, very lucky to have her. She's amazing. She paved the way for what our characters would then sound like. And at this time we also picked up June, who we picked up because he originally came from Cornwall and he did Duke Nukem impressions on his YouTube. So it was perfect. He could do the Cornish accent and he could mix it with Duke Nukem when we had this authentic new BRINE guy character, which is a lot of fun. But from there, yeah, from that casting call alone, we got our sort of core enemies. And as we introduce more enemies, we will be absolutely leaning into getting more voice actors for each one, because with each voice actor, like, comes a brand new voice and ideas person to the table. Like, there's a lot of improv involved with the lines as well, and they really sell the characters and make them their own unique thing. So yeah, voice work is definitely integral to what makes BRINE, and it's not changing from there. We're carrying on with that. Like, all of our enemies are local fish to Cornwall, so we have a lot to choose from. Like, we have a lot of fish in Cornwall, so each one you bring in, you're like, okay, what sort of UK sort of stereotype are we bringing? What kind of character is this? And how does this character sound? What does a crab sound like? That's a hard challenge we're having at the moment. It's just, you have to find the right person for it. And then they go, oh, I know this. This is a piece of piss. This is what they sound like. And you're like, oh, that's perfect. I had that in my head somewhat. That'll do. And then, yeah, it's a good time.
I think that about covers it. Like, I don't truly know what else there is to say. I guess, was there anything you have to say? Or
nothing planned, but I suppose BRINE is available on itch if anyone wants to give it a go. We'll be moving over to Steam demos later this year, so play it now on itch and give us feedback, and you can have a core integral part in making the game what it is to become. And yeah, just you'll see us around. We'll be around on Blue Sky, probably shit posting. So give us a follow if you're interested. Yeah, thanks for having me. To be honest, it's been amazing.
Yeah,
the second time
doing this for the first time, actually. Yeah, there's no
yeah, the first time, never been here before. Lovely meeting you.
Yeah, good luck on BRINE. I'll link all this stuff when I edit this. Yeah,
awesome.
Right. Have a good one.
All right, see you in a bit. Bye.